All right, a change of pace for you. It's time for our business roundup. I'm joined here in the studio by France 24's Catherine Bennett. Hello to you,
Hiya.
Catherine. We know that the US released job data for May this Friday. I mean, how is the US economy shaping up?
Well, what we know from this job report that came out today is shows a labour market that is steadily but slowly coming back to life, essentially. Last month, the US economy created 559,000 jobs. Now, that's a respectable figure, particularly coming off the back of the 278,000 jobs added in April. But it's still below what were quite ambitious expectations to begin with. The unemployment rate fell from 6.1% to 5.8%. Now, that's better than predicted. Job creation in May was led mostly by the services sector, as restaurants, bars and hospitality added most of those posts. So far, the US economy has recovered about 14.3 million of the 22 million jobs lost at the beginning of the pandemic. President Joe Biden was extremely confident about the numbers, saying that the report showed historic progress. Let's have a listen.
America is finally on the move again. As we continue this recovery, we're going to hit some bumps along the way. Of course, that'll happen. We can't reboot the world's largest economy like flipping on a nice light switch. There's going to be ups and downs in jobs and economic reports, but we're going to be supply chain issues and price pressures on the way back to stability and steady growth. This much is already clear. We're on the right track. Our plan is working, and we're not going to let up now.
Well, we can have a look at how investors have responded to that report on the global markets. They don't appear to be too disappointed, even though figures were below expectations. European markets actually got a small boost before the end of trading from the report, with the DAX and Milan climbing to just under 0.5% ahead of other indices. Wall Street has also been in positive territory since the start of trading on Friday. The Dow Jones pulled up by 0.5%, the S&P 500 was up almost 1%, and the Nasdaq Composite jumped up 1.5%. That report renewing investors' confidence in the US's economic comeback. We're moving to the tech sector now, where Facebook has been hit by not one, but two investigations at the same time. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority and the European Commission both announced probes into the social media company today. They want to find out if the company uses data collected from its users to compete with other people and businesses in the online classified ads sector, including people advertising on the company's own platform, Facebook Marketplace. Jean-Emile Jamin takes a look at how European regulators aim to rein in the dominance of big tech.
Using likes to get ahead. On Friday, European regulators announced that the way Facebook manipulates user data gives it an unfair head start over its advertising rivals. Now they want to level the competition playing field.
Today we have opened a formal antitrust investigation to assess whether Facebook has violated EU competition rules by using advertising data gathered from advertisers in order to compete with them in the markets where Facebook is active, such as classified ads.
The investigation will also assess whether Facebook gathered information from its online marketplace to target customers more effectively and outcompete rival ad providers. With Mark Zuckerberg's company shifting the focus to e-commerce revenue streams, any impact on the marketplace would likely be bad for business. On Friday, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority meanwhile also launched a similar probe, investigating whether customers using Facebook to log into other sites help the company to mine data to use targeted ads and gain a competitive advantage. While both investigators will work independently, they say they'll cooperate with each other. Facebook, meanwhile, also says it's willing to comply with the findings.
We will continue to cooperate fully with the investigations to demonstrate that they are without merit.
The investigation could result in charges against the tech giant, but it's not a given. However, regulators could impose penalties of up to 10% of the company's revenue, amounting in Facebook's case to tens of billions of dollars.
Well, those investigations aren't the only worry for Facebook. Finance ministers from the group of 7 rich nations are at a summit in London where they say they are millimetres away from an agreement on corporate tax, which will have a big impact on digital giants like Facebook. Countries across the world that have had their economies ravaged by the pandemic are looking to corporate tax as a way of raising revenue. The US has proposed a minimum global corporate tax rate of 15%, which could see some pushback from countries with lower tax rates. Negotiations are also looking at how to crack down on profit shifting. That's a practice whereby multinationals can report their profits somewhere else that has a lower or even no tax rate. Germany's finance minister gave an update on the talks this evening.
Are very successful talks. We are making progress, and I'm absolutely confident that we will get agreements today and tomorrow, and we will be able to have a very clear message on global corporate taxation that we are discussing, as you know, on the proposal the United States made to have a minimum tax rate of 15% or more. And we are discussing on the question of how to better tax the digital corporates. And in both fields we are going further, and I think we will finish with a result.
Workers in France's tourism industry are hoping that this summer will see a rebound for the sector, especially as French President Emmanuel Macron has actually asked people to stay within France for the holidays. James Facina has more.
Whether it's a trip to the coast or a calm break in the countryside, millions of French people are planning to go on holiday this summer. And this could bring figures closer to pre-COVID times. Hotels are busy taking bookings.
We're over 70% booked for July. The first weeks are looking really good, even better than the usual actually. So we're confident. We think it's going to be a good season.
And reservations for accommodation means brighter days for local businesses.
It's got off to a very good start. We can't complain. It just needs to stay this way.
Bookings for house and flat rentals are higher than at this time in 2019, before the pandemic struck, with reservations up by 46 and 47% in some coastal regions on one popular booking platform. But for travel agencies offering trips abroad, it's a much bleaker situation. According to one of the industry's associations, €1 billion worth of vouchers that were given to customers when countries locked down will expire in September.
Out of the millions of customers whose trips had to be cancelled, barely 10% have been able to use their credit notes. So this means that 90% of these bookings are still under the form of a voucher, and we need to reduce this. It could get very complicated. We don't want to have to lay people off.
Around 4,000 travel agency owners say they're worried they could go bankrupt and are asking the government to bring in a new tax on holiday or plane bookings to keep them afloat.
So it looks like that could be good news for the tourism sector in France, which of course is desperate for more people to holiday within the country this summer.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed all goes well. We stay on the right path. Catherine, thank you very much for that roundup of the business for us.